Hey everybody, it's Harry from Slapper Daddy BBQ, the YouTube channel that teaches you how to master barbecue so you can spread barbecue love. You guys have told me that I have so many recipes on cooking brisket and ribs, but we don't have a lot of recipes cooking chicken. So you're in for a treat today because I'm going to do my favorite Tandoori style Indian chicken recipe, doing a spatchcock chicken with some spices made from scratch, including a very fragrant Garam Masala, which I'm going to show you how to make from scratch. We're going to add a little bit of yogurt marinade together with some other Indian spices to create the perfect tandoori chicken. We're going to serve it with some saffron rice, which I'm going to show you how to make in your rice cooker. This garam masala we're going to make is going to be comprised of first what I call the Indian trinity of flavors. Just like when you do Cajun cuisine or kind of Louisiana cuisine, you have the holy trinity of the bell pepper, celery, and onion. In Indian cuisine, I find that when you add cumin, coriander, and cardamom pods here, you will always get a kind of a very nice exotic Indian flavor. So we're going to toast about, I'm going to say maybe 2 tablespoons of cumin, about the same amount of coriander seeds here, about 2 tablespoons or so ish. The quantities aren't really that important so long as you can get a nice blend, and about probably half as much of cardamom pods since this is pretty strong. Make sure that when you buy these pods, they are fresh and they're not discolored. So we have the holy trinity here. The next thing we want to do is add some sweet type of spices. That can be done using a little bit of cinnamon. We're going to use a whole cinnamon stick like so. You can also add other sweet spices like a whole cloves. We're going to add a little bit of peppercorn to toast, maybe a handful like that. And if you like, you can add also a little bit of fennel. That's really up to you. So, and lastly, I'm going to add just a few cloves for that wonderful flavor, the sweetness that comes from cloves. So we have about 6 or 7 ingredients. The ingredients themselves can vary. This is a simple 6-7 ingredient garam masala. Some garam masalas have up to 20 different ingredients, but this is just enough for us to create a very flavorful chicken to go with the tandoori marinade. We're going to gently pan roast these spices. Dry roast them under a medium heat, not too hot, and just take your time, and then you know that it's ready when the aromatic compounds are released. And we're going to put it in a spice grinder and get some homemade garam masala ready for our tandoori chicken. I broke up some of the cinnamon sticks that are kind of large in sizes, so I didn't want to jam my spice grinder, so just break them up. Yeah, you can smell the fragrance of the spices being toasted as they release the essential oils. So this process will take about between 4 to 7 minutes depending on how hot your fire is. You want to make sure that you don't burn the spices. Very, very important, because if you burn the spices, you have to start over. We just want to dry roast them until they become fragrant, and then we're going to grind them into a fine powder. Okay, that's good enough. About 3 to 4 minutes on a medium-high heat, and this spice is ready to go. Let's go ahead and grind it up. Alright, garam masala has been ground up, ready to go. We're going to use it on the chicken now. I like a little of a floral note, so I'm going to add just a little bit of nutmeg at the end. This is kind of optional. You can vary it according to what you like. We start with the Indian trinity of flavors. Then we have sweet flavors such as the cinnamon sticks, cloves, ground nutmeg. You can put ground mace, bay leaves. You want heat, you can add cayenne. We added some black pepper to it. But you can also add like powdered ginger and chili. It's really up to you to kind of make your own garam masala the way you like it. Let's prep our chicken now. Show you guys how to spatchcock the chicken. So never wash your chicken. Always make sure that you towel it dry if it's kind of wet. Reach in and pull out the parts. Usually you have the liver, heart, gizzards in here. And you can save this for soup stock. I like to use a scissors when I spatchcock. All you need to do is cut down the spine, find the butt here, run your knife on the left and right hand side of the spine. So you can start from the back also. You can also start from the front. It doesn't really matter. Either way works. Whatever you're comfortable with. On one side down the spine, going down to the other side of the spine now. So just like the movie Predator, when the alien pulls out the spine from the victim. So this is good stuff, so don't waste it. It's good for stock. And you want to save these pieces to make stock, chicken stock, make soup stock. All right, so we have the spine removed from the spatchcock chicken. I like to try to do is kind of crack the breastbone just a tad here. That is enough to spread the chicken out. So we're gonna have a spatchcock chicken that looks like that. Next thing we want to do is we want to remove the skin because the tandoori chicken doesn't have skin. So I'm gonna run my hand underneath and remove the skin. Okay, spatchcock chicken done. Don't worry about some of this fat here. It'll cook off as you put it in the pit. If you want to take the trouble, you can also remove some of the skin from the wing, but I don't bother. So that represents the chicken. Toss the skin if you like. You can make chicharrones also. And then save these for the stock pot. Next, we're going to score the chicken so that we can get some flavor into it. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take a sharp knife and then cut some slits into the meat. Be very careful not to cut yourself. And this will allow you to get the marinade to penetrate, flavor the tandoori chicken. Be very careful when you do this. Same for the breast. We're going to make some cuts into the breast meat. So the secret to cooking tandoori is to use a yogurt marinade. That way the breast meat will not dry out as you cook this over some hot coals. We're going to try to get it around 325, 350-ish. And I'm just cutting some slits so that we can get some of the marinade to penetrate the meat here. All right, so we have the spatchcock chicken right here, ready to be marinated. We're ready to marinate the chicken. We've got about 1 cup of yogurt ready. We have a little bit of Indian style curry powder. Looking at the curry powder, sometimes certain curry powders aren't yellow enough. They don't have enough turmeric. So I always have turmeric on standby. If the curry powder isn't yellow enough, I add turmeric because some curry powders tend to be brown. You want a nice kind of golden color on your chicken. Here's the scratch-made garam masala. I wish you were here. You can smell that wonderful fragrance of the cloves, cardamom, cinnamon with the coriander. And we have some salt, which we need. With the regular salt is fine. This one is an optional item. This is a red food coloring. The typical tandoori is always red, like bright red. You don't want to use a food coloring. That's perfectly fine. It will still taste fantastic. But I'm going to do the authentic way using food coloring. I also have a little bit of Indian staple here, which you can find in any Indian grocery store, which is a ginger garlic paste. You can grind or mince your own ginger garlic, but for most Indian households, this is what they do. They always have a jar of this ginger and garlic minced paste ready for all their cooking to make curries so that they don't have to keep trying to make this every single time. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to salt the chicken. And with the way we're going to do that is we're going to use a little bit of lemon juice to kind of get the meat wet so we can get it salted. The traditional Indian method also is that the lemon juice or lime juice will tend to kind of, take any type of staleness away from the chicken. I think in America we don't have that problem at all. Most of the food here is super duper fresh. So you want to get some lime juice or lemon juice onto your chicken, kind of to wet it. Give it a little bit of a lemon juice cleanse. Trying to get it in all the crevices. Put the seeds on the side here. All right, now that we have applied some lemon juice, we're gonna salt the chicken now. This is where you have to be very careful. You want to salt the chicken so every piece has flavor, but not too much. If you want to use a barbecue rub at this point in time, you can use a barbecue rub, no problemo. I often use my Slather chicken rub at this point. But for this episode, I'm just going to use salt, show you the versatility. You don't have to buy product when you are watching my recipes on my channel. You can pretty much use your pantry ingredients. Just a light layer of salt here. Kind of get everything in the crevices. Okay. So now comes the dangerous part. So you notice that I'm wearing an apron. Why am I wearing an apron? Is because when the food coloring part goes awry, you're going to end up staining your shirt and everything in your kitchen. So be very careful. Don't ask me how I know why a marble floor does not do well when you have red stains. It just takes a long time to try to remove them. I also am wearing gloves. Very important. You're going to stain your hands with this red dye. A very little amount of food coloring is needed. So please be very, very careful at this stage. Right, we're going to put just a tiny, tiny amount on your hand. Gloved hand, please, right? Just a tiny, tiny amount, like so. We're going to put it on the chicken. Have the beautiful color. So when you finish cooking, it's going to have a wonderful, deep red color. Completely optional. If you want to do this, don't sweat it. Don't worry about it. And I only use like probably, I don't know, maybe less than a teaspoon. And you can see how much color I've gotten on my chicken. It's going to be absolutely tandoori, red, gorgeous, super sexy by the time I'm done. And I'm going to add also a little bit to the yogurt mixture here, about 1 cup of yogurt. Probably around maybe half a teaspoon of food coloring to get the color going. Let's see if you can see that. Yeah, just just a quarter teaspoon of food coloring is enough to give it a beautiful color. So our chicken has color. Next step along the way is we want to season it with all the different spices. You can start anywhere. I like to start with my ginger garlic paste, like so. Get it massaging all that flavor of the ginger. Probably about maybe, I don't know, like 1 teaspoon on the leg quarter, 1 teaspoon on each leg quarter, and maybe a little bit on the breast. If you like garlic and ginger, add more. If you don't like garlic, just skip this piece. Not absolutely necessary because the garam masala that you made will have fantastic flavor as it is. But this will take it up a notch here. I'm just massaging it into the crevices with the ginger garlic paste. So, all right, let's now add a couple of aromatics. We're going to add the garam masala. It's a beautiful spice. That's why it's called a warming spice, because it kind of just warms up the flavor. It marries really well with the curry powder. And if you do Indian cooking, 1 tablespoon or 1 teaspoon of this stuff will immediately render any dish you're making with the exotic flavors of India. Use as much or as little as you like here. And this stores really well. You can keep it in the pantry for up to 6 months. No problemo. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit of curry powder now. And I wish you could smell what I'm smelling. It's absolutely fantastic. Okay, now this curry powder is very, very turmeric-y. Is that turmeric-y? Is that such a word? There's a lot of turmeric. So once your curry powder has a lot of turmeric, there's no need to add turmeric. Some curry powders are kind of brown, but today's curry powder is fine, so I'm just going to skip this part. But I want to show you the recipe so that you can follow accordingly. You want to get some of the garam masala also into the yogurt mixture. So get a little bit of the garlic paste also in here. Maybe about 2 heaping teaspoons. And add the curry powder also. So I got this beautiful mixture of the yogurt marinade. And ideally, you want to put the chicken in, let it season overnight, and let it get nice and happy. You can even do it like even a full day later. It's going to allow the flavors to melt. It's going to add a little bit more, maybe another quarter teaspoon food coloring, because I like the red color. Okay, let's slather it on now. So it looks a little bit sort of kind of glaringly red, but once you finish cooking, it's absolutely going to be fabulous. And as in all cooking, if you like to play with your food with your hands, now's the opportunity to give a massage to the tandoori to get maximum flavor. Or as my friends in England call it, Harry, we're giving it a massage. And I want to get the flavor of the yogurt mixture into the crevices. So, and notice I have it on a rack so that I can cause any excess to drain to the bottom. We're just gonna let this marinate for a little bit, and then we're gonna scrape off all the excess yogurt and let it roast in the pit. So we have a pit smoked tandoori. And serve it with some rice. We're gonna show you how to make some saffron rice. And what will happen is, because we are using a yogurt as the marinade, it will minimize the chicken breast drying out here, because there's a tendency for chicken to dry out. Gonna get all the flavor into the pockets here. Okay, looks complete, and we'll let this sit before we cook it. All right, let's wash 2 cups of rice to prepare the saffron rice. So the way we adjust the water is we use our fingers to measure it. So you're gonna put your finger right into the base, put it next finger where the rice level is, and then put the next one in the water level. So you can see here, it's approximately about half. So I'll do it again so you can see it. Finger into the rice, next finger into the level of the rice, next finger into the level of the water, and you can see it's about half. So we got half amount of water and half amount of rice. You can adjust your rice accordingly. Some people like rice that is really dry, some people like it is wet. So you just have to practice to see what style of rice you would like to make. Let's get ready to make our saffron rice. And what you need is obviously some saffron. This is a petal of the stamen of a flower. It's probably the most expensive spice in the world. This particular one is the Khorasan. So my friend is from Iran. He gave me some Khorasan saffron, which is among the finest in the world. You only need a pinch because it's horribly expensive. It's one of the most expensive spices in the world. So I'm just gonna grab a handful of Khorasan saffron threads like so. I'm gonna pop it into the rice. Now you're supposed to use warm water to kind of get the flavor, but I don't have time for that, but that's okay. A little bit of the garlic ginger. Just give it a little bit of a ginger garlic touch to it, maybe about just a little bit like so. Yay much in here. I have some chicken base, which is chicken bouillon powder. We'll put it in here. Chicken bouillon powder in there. The garam masala, probably 1 teaspoon perfectly left over. Maybe about just a little bit, depending on how strong you want it. I would say probably just a pinch like that is enough to get some of that color on it. With the color, this is a little bit of curry powder, and that's probably good. Give it a stir. Get the chicken base to dissolve here. So granules, and just maybe about 1 tablespoon of oil to bind it all together. We're gonna pop this into the rice cooker. So you can add a bay leaf, you can add a cinnamon stick. Why don't I do that? Let me add a cinnamon stick to make it authentic. If you want to oomph up the flavor, I'm just add a few cardamom pods and just a piece of cinnamon stick. Close the lid, let it do its thing. And you have made your own little side dish of saffron rice to go wonderfully with the tandoori spatchcock chicken. You can marinate 4 hours or more. Overnight is also good. So the next day before we cook, we just need to get some of the extra marinade and yogurt off so it won't burn so much. Alright, we have our 275 on the smoke fire. Let's put it in. been about 3 hours and a half. Let's check for doneness. 165, that's pretty good. All right, ready to go. Let's go ahead and let it cool down. Chicken looks absolutely amazingly gorgeous. Let's go ahead and cut it up and plate it and serve it with some saffron rice. Alright, at long last, the tandoori chicken is ready. I have my saffron rice already made here, and we're gonna enjoy it with some of the chicken that we made. We're gonna do a squeeze of lemon on the dark meat. Let's grab the drumstick, absolutely gorgeous. Get some lemon juice on it. Take a bite. Just wonderful exotic flavors. That exoticness and of the warming spice that garam masala comes right through the first bite. Just a hint of smoke because we cook it in a smoker. A little bit of spice from the curry. The curry powder I was used was pretty spicy, so this is absolutely delicious. So that's the dark meat. Let's try the white meat here. Because of the yogurt, the meat is super moist and tender. You can see here, and I'm gonna take a bite of the chicken breast. Absolutely moist. Hint of the spices and just enough salt, not too salty. So this is actually quite a healthy dish because we don't have the skin on. So for those of you who are looking for a healthier version of chicken, this one doesn't have skin. So good, I'm gonna have a second bite. Let's try the rice. Super easy to make this rice, and you just cook in a rice cooker and you're all set. The chicken base really wakes up the flavor of the rice. This is definitely better than instant rice that you get from Uncle Ben. It's so good. I'm gonna have another bite. It really pairs well with the chicken meat itself. Take a bite with the breast meat. Wow. Super satisfying tandoori chicken. Not that hard to make. You saw us do it. So now I'm done. Let's make sure that the brisket dog has a chance to try it. You want to try some, Beans? He's wagging his tail. So let's give him some to try. Okay, Beans, you ready for your snack? All right, we're gonna give you some chicken today. No brisket, but the tandoori chicken is pretty darn good. Okay, give it a shot, Beans. He's eating the dark meat, breast meat now. I think he likes it. A little bit of curry flavor there. Excellent. Nice job, Beans. Hey, thanks for stopping by my tandoori chicken episode. Hope you liked it. Super easy to make. Please like and subscribe this video. And I want to do a shout out and thank you to all my Patreons who are keeping the lights on and keeping my channel going. Until the next video, we will see ya.